so the Feds drop rates and rates get worse. How does that make sense? And what is happening over the last couple of days? Why is pricing getting so much worse? Well, as I usually start out with these videos, I'm going to take everything off the screen and make it really nice and easy to see for a second, and then I'll go ahead and get back into the granular detail. So essentially, what we saw over the course of a couple of weeks, I'm going to measure back on April of this year, essentially April 2024, and go to the very top. From April, over the course of 145 days going to September 24th, interest rates got to one of the best points they've been at for a very long time. Where was that time before where they were at? Well, it is right where you see the other peak here on the left-hand side, and the other peak is right here. So essentially, here's what happened. And a short story is it came up to the ceiling and got rejected. It wasn't strong enough to get over that ceiling, and rates to continue to get better and better. That said, now it went for decline, and essentially all of the gain that we made, we have now lost. However, there is something here that is very faint that you should pay attention to, and is some good news. What is that, you might ask? Well, if we look and we connect the lowest low to the next lowest low, and we're going to extend that out. And let me get that actually right on at 100%. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. Well, what happened here? We got over to today, and that, sure enough, was a very strong support level. Now, we ended up falling below it, and then we ended up actually going above it again right here. Now, why is this candle right here very important? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, the high on this candle wick right here is higher than this one, higher than this one. The closing price on this is higher than this one and higher than this one. And again, the closing price is where the full width of that candle is. The other big thing is the closing price was over our level of support. So here's what's going to happen next. We're going to go one of two ways. One, tomorrow we will see the next candle continue, and now it's going to ride this support. Or it's going to fall, and then this is going to be our new ceiling of resistance. Now, let's go put all the other lines and colors back on the chart, and then it will give us a little bit better idea of what's going to happen. Okay. We're going to look at our other indicators, divergence and convergence. Well, what is this saying? What it's saying right now is that the momentum looks like it's about ready to go ahead and intersect, turn around, and make a U-turn. Well, what happens every time that it turned around down here, and it turned around down here, and it turned around down here? Well, if we look at it compared to the rest of the data, you can see the blue lines right here. When it turned around here, what happened? Pricing got better. When it turned around right here, pricing got better. So if it turns around right here, pricing's probably going to get better. Now, what it translates to is, if it does get better, well, here's where it's going to go, and we're going to fight our next level of resistance, essentially do it all over again. So essentially what's going to happen is we are going to do one of these motions. We're going to keep going, and then we'll keep doing this kind of thing, and then we're going to keep doing this, and then we're going to get right to this point right here. Now, at this point, there's more lines, my favorite thing. But there's a couple of them, and they're all right next to each other. And so what does that translate to? What it translates to is getting above these two and breaking above them, maintaining that essentially positive direction will be one battle. The second battle will be getting above these three lines and maintaining them and not falling below it and getting rejected. And it's going to be a very hard thing to do for the market. And the question that you be asked, or the thought that might come to mind is why? Well, let's look at those lines and see how much of a pain they've been this entire time. This red big box I just drew on the screen, that's the starting point, that's the ending point. That is 855 days. It's a little bit over 2 years. For 2 years, we have not been able to break above that ceiling. So essentially what that sums up to be, the more times that you try and break a ceiling of resistance and you get rejected, that ceiling becomes even stronger and stronger. The more times that you hit a level of support and don't fall below that level of support, the stronger and stronger that support becomes. The point is for 2 years, we have not been able to get above the ceiling. So the probability of getting above it now, highly unlikely. What's favorable is that the momentum is turning around. In addition to that, the relative strength index, which is the top of this chart's indicator, is also turning around. So this could be the final moment where we're finally going to see rates get out of the sevens completely, get into the fives, and maintain the fives. Not anything that's going to be 5.25 anytime soon, but 5.75, 5.99 on conventional, 4.99 to 5.25 on FHA, VA, and USDA. So overall, positive news. If you are in transaction right now and you are closing in less than 15 days, I would say float your rate carefully, and it really will depend on what happens tomorrow. If you are closing 15 days and farther, again, float your rate, as it could improve. This could be our turnaround that we're looking for. At the very least, we should be at the bottom of this decline in price, and we should be back up to go to hit that ceiling. And while we go back towards that ceiling, pricing will get better. So for that reason, keep your loans floating. Do not lock. It would be best to float. All right, guys. Catch you later.